Raider Nation, we are live. You're watching the Raiders Report, brought to you by BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. And I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. Interact with me on IG and Twitter at MitchellRenz365. Now, why do I always tell you guys to interact with me? It's because I actually like to see you outside of YouTube. And recently, I posted on my Twitter and I posted on my Instagram some questions, and I wanted to hear your guys' opinion. So this part of this mailbag is all about you, and I want you guys to remember to use that hashtag Raiders to get your question on the show. So at Sosa_HitPower, do you think the Raiders will draft 2 edge rushers in the first round? Also, Sosa, what are you drinking? Because I'm drinking some beer on today's show. Cheers to Raider Nation. Share what you guys are sipping on. Now, there's a lot of questions around the Raiders 2019 draft because, well, they got 8 picks, but they got 3 picks in the first round, 4, 24, and 27. And all eyes are on how Mike Mayock and Jon Gruden are going to be able to cooperate in this year's draft. And recently on the Raiders Report, I broke down the Raiders' top 5 biggest needs: defensive end, tight end, running back, offensive guard, and the cornerback. When I look at some of these edge rushers, though, in this year's NFL draft class, it's exciting, and it gets me hyped up, and I think it's an interesting question why you're asking, are the Raiders going to take 2 edge rushers in the first round? Now, you're telling me right now if we can get Nick Bosa or Josh Allen to drop down to number 4, dude, I am absolutely loving that. And now maybe, I've already mocked Clelin Ferrell at 24 because I've seen it in a few mocks, he's fallen down that far. Now, I don't think Montez Sweat falls down that far, and I don't think Brian Burns gets down to around that 27-24 range. But Josh Allen, Clelin Ferrell, I'd at least give it 2 Chucky heads. I mean, why not? I mean, this is a huge, huge need that the Raiders have when you're dead last in the NFL in sacks the year before that. Guess what? You're going to have to go out and you're going to have to get after the quarterback. So, will the Raiders draft 2 edge rushers in the first round? I want to know from everybody watching. So, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, give me a Y for yes and N for no. Will the Raiders draft 2 edge rushers in the first round? Let's go to my dude, Steve. What up, Steve? What if we draft Kyler Murray, oh boy, here we go, as a backup? If Carr don't play good, we'll have a quarterback already. Well, I guess that this rumor would be, are the Raiders drafting Kyler Murray? And we know that Murray and Dwayne Haskins met with the Raiders last week. From everything that I've heard, the meetings went very well, and Gruden is interested because, well, Kyler Murray is really freaking good, guys. And not only did he win the Heisman, and not only does he have a killer arm, the dude can run. He had over 1,000 rushing yards last year. But Jon Gruden is absolutely obsessed with quarterbacks. Heck, he used to have a show called Gruden's Quarterback Camp. Like, I'm pretty sure if I threw on some pads, he'd be like, that kid's pretty good. I mean, he must, right? We signed Nathan Peterman for goodness sakes. So, here's the thing, though. If you go out and get Kyler Murray, the rumors are already going to start rolling. Is it Derek Carr? Do we go with Murray? And I don't necessarily know if that's something the Raiders want to do, but I do think the Raiders look at some other teams in the past. They're looking at a Chiefs team who just went from Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes. And in that year, Patrick Mahomes won the MVP. But MVPs are great and all, and I think Kyler Murray's going to have a great career. And I know a lot of you guys love Derek Carr. But here's the question, and I want you to be honest, okay? Be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. Who's going to have the better NFL career? I want you to type C for Carr or type M for Murray. I think it's a really tough question. I really like Kyler Murray. I think he's got a lot of good things going for him. And if you put him in the right system, I think he's going to be a successful quarterback. So, type C for Carr, M for Murray. If you want to know what I honestly think, hit me up on IG at MitchellRenz365. Let's go to Anthony Hernandez. And while we were going over the graphics on the show, producer Brett goes, damn. That's a really good one. So go give him a follow at Hydra_leader_Anthony. Who do you think will take control when this draft comes? Mike Mayock or Jon Gruden? It is a great question. So I'm going to ask you this, okay? Who will take control during the draft? I want you to type JG for Gruden, MM for Mayock, or SH for Share. Are they going to share the love? Is Mike Mayock going to be like, nah, man, hold my beer. I'm coming in here, and I'm going to run this draft? Or is Jon Gruden going to say, they just paid me $100 million last year. This is my team. Let me know in the comments section. And I'm going to share with you guys something. The best promo deal on the internet. It's my Raiders 120. Use it for 120% deposit bonus. Go to chatsports.com/bet. And it's thanks, shout out to BetDSI for hooking us up with it. Sorry, Brett, if I scared you. I'm drinking this Saison Bet from Boulevard. It's got me all hyped. Raiders 120 is that promo code. Use it for 120% deposit bonus. If you need help getting started with BetDSI, slide in my DMs at MitchellRens365. I'm a lot more friendly after I have a few drinks. All right, let's go to Alvaro Martinez. Go follow him at his name and some numbers. Do you think the Raiders O-line are going to allow more or fewer sacks this season? This is a great question. And here's the one thing, guys. You guys super chat me, you're going to get on the show. You guys say anything that has to do with the Raiders and their offensive line and their struggles and Tom Cable, FC, probably going to get on the show. So here's the sacks allowed the last 4 years by the Raiders. 2017, 24. 2016, 18. 2015, 33. 2018, 52. One of these years is not like the others. Can you guess which year Tom Cable was the offensive line coach? Can you guess? Yeah, it was 2018 when they gave up the 5th most sacks in the NFL. So can I get a hallelujah, FC? Fire Tom Cable. I am absolutely sick of this guy ruining our offensive line. He's given Derek Carr the shakes. I can't take it anymore. Let me see some FCs in the comment section because, guys, we got to get rid of this guy. You got to get rid of Cable. And while you're at getting rid of Cable, make sure you guys subscribe. YouTube.com/Raiders Report, the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube. We are a lot cheaper than Cable. All right, this next question is coming in from Quay Mayo at Q_Mayo7. So a little thing about Quay, we used to play college baseball together. So Quay, I appreciate you watching the show. What's up with your boy AB? Antonio Brown. We're not even in May yet. And I'm already getting DMs. We need to trade Antonio Brown because he's just starting drama with JuJu. And anytime I'm seeing a wide receiver who's a bit of a diva, who's got bad JuJu, man, I don't know what to think about it. Now, AB blamed JuJu for the Steelers missing the playoffs. Smith-Schuster didn't really agree with the criticism of AB, and he wasn't afraid to fire back on him on Twitter. And here's the thing. I get that Antonio Brown is one of us, okay? But AB, shut it. I don't want to hear that you don't want to put emotions on Twitter. You are the most emotional person I have ever met. The most emotional person I've ever met, and I work with James Yoder every single day, so that's all I'm saying. But JuJu is one of those people who, I like what he does on Twitter. I like what JuJu represents. But at the end of the day, we're already having issues with AB not being able to shut his mouth. And guys, I'm telling you right now, I want Antonio Brown to excel, and I think that he could be a great receiver. And I know sometimes, like when you look at past years, like a Jerry Rice year or a Tim Brown year, like the Raiders have had success at wide receivers. But when I look to see what Antonio Brown has done over the last 6 seasons, I mean, what are his numbers actually going to look like? I mean, I think it's a realistic question that we're going to have because we know if he doesn't get the numbers that he wants, hell, Mr. Big Chest is not going to be a very happy camper. So I had a little bit of fun. I went on Twitter and I went on Instagram and I put out my projections on how Antonio Brown's numbers are going to look in 2019. So if you guys want to know what I personally think Antonio Brown's 2019 projections are going to be, here's what you got to do. You got to go to my Instagram, okay? Give me a follow, and then check out my story. I give you the exact targets, receptions, yards, and touchdowns. All I'm going to say, it's bold. It's very bold. Again, it's at my Instagram, at MitchellRens365. And while you're there, don't be afraid to slide in my DMs if I miss any of your questions on today's show. And why not give me a nice little follow? I would definitely appreciate it. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, brought to you by BetDSI. And I'm your host, Chat Sports' and the Raiders Report host, Mitchell Renz. Give me a follow on IG and Twitter, at MitchellRens365. Inside joke that none of y'all get. It's all good. Make sure you guys subscribe. YouTube.com/Raiders Report, the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube. And make sure you click the notifications. It's the little bell, okay? So you know exactly when I go live. Now, I did some questions around Instagram. So now I asked everybody on Twitter. You know, what's going on? So K-Rock at Crash T. Scott. This is one of my good friends. He always hits me up. So he sends me sack leader equals Iggy Ansah with 13. 53-man roster equals who cares, because I did a show the other day with some guys who might make the roster. Then Drew Lock equals backup. So I'm going to start this one off with Ansah Raiders sack leader. And this is one of those where, dear Whitehead, man, I hope you're watching this. I think Ezekiel Ansah is a talented player. But I quote tweeted to Tahir Whitehead a few weeks ago, and I said, I don't want the Raiders to go out and get Ansah because I still don't know if he's medically cleared. When Ezekiel Ansah is on the field, he is a very talented pass rusher. Heck, he had 12 sacks in 2017. But here's the thing. He's not healthy. And I haven't heard any reports that he's even kind of healthy. Now, we're going to have a report coming out soon. April 12th is what I'm reading. But if Ansah's not healthy, man, I just don't want to touch him because he's going to require a lot of money. But you guys know, this show, come on, not about me. It's about the nation. Should the Raiders sign Ziggy Ansah? I want you to type S for sign or P for pass. Can you do that for me? Because I would really appreciate it. All right, let's roll in now to my next question here. And, K-Rocks, again, I guess we're looking at this. We're going back to it because I'm not looking at my sheet. And Drew Lock, okay? Is Drew Lock going to be the backup for the Raiders? This is another interesting question because my sources close to me here at Chat Sports are telling me that Jon Gruden is absolutely infatuated with Drew Lock. And I don't see how you could like this face. As somebody described to me, it looks like a squirrel is sitting on his head, is from what somebody told me on Twitter. Now, I get that Gruden likes quarterbacks, and I get that Drew Lock played with him at the Senior Bowl, and I think that's what's really sparking this. But when I look at Drew Lock and I look at Derek Carr, I think they're very similar quarterbacks. And if you guys disagree with me, that's fine. But I've had people send me their highlights, and I'm not a Drew Lock lover, and I don't want the Raiders to draft Drew Lock really high. And my source told me that the Raiders are actually considering doing it at 2, and that scares the hell out of me. And I don't want that to happen whatsoever. I see mock drafts going down where the Raiders are selecting them, top 2. And, man, I think we can all be real. Like, that's not something that we want. So, Drew Lock, it's interesting. I get it. But for me, man, I'm staying away. All right, Scott, what's going on, my man? Much appreciated. So, SDaddy1999 used the hashtag Raider Nation. How's this for a draft haul? Williams at 4, Byron Murphy at 24, Noah Fant at 27, Josh Jacobs at 35, Raider Nation for life. So, here's the mock draft that Scott put together. Quinnen Williams at 4, Byron Murphy at 24, Noah Fant at 27, and Josh Jacobs at 35. You got that? You soaking it in? Good, because I'm going to ask you to get out that pen and paper and put a grade on it. Grade that mock draft, okay? Quinnen at 4, Murphy at 24, Noah Fant at 27, and Josh Jacobs at 35. I did it. So A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments section watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, let me know what you think the grade is. I'm looking down. Raider Nation says B. Raider YD says A. Crazy Ant says C. William Maria says a whole bunch of A's. And then we got a Douglas something with a D. All good. Sometimes you just got to get that. John Butson. John's my dude. If Bosa and Allen are gone at 4, should the Raiders consider drafting Ed Oliver as edge rusher since some are suggesting he could make the move? If both of these players are off the board, sure. The only other player who I'm going to actually consider then is Quinnen Williams, okay? Now, I like Quinnen Williams a lot. Ed Oliver is also getting a lot of hype, and I get that he's a little bit undersized, but he's still an unbelievable athlete, and he's shown when he plays, he is super talented. So, I understand the love for Ed Oliver, but when I look at Tom Downey's big board, and you guys know that I respect Tom, he's the number 1 guy in the biz. Go follow him at What Going Downey. Ed Oliver is number 4 player, okay? So you got Quinnen, Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, Ed Oliver, and Devin White. I think for the Raiders, though, they're really going to look at if Quinnen, Nick Bosa, and Allen are all off the board, the real debate's going to come Ed Oliver and Devin White. Devin White is the bigger need. Ed Oliver is the better player. But at that point, if you're just splitting hairs, I would actually think I'd rather the Raiders go Devin White over Ed Oliver. But, John, it was a really good question. All right, let's go to Nevada. Nevada John, go follow him at John46201150. Did it. Mitch, how is Martavis Bryant suspension going? Is there any talk of reinstatement? Well, I'm thinking about that. I need to sip on this because I need to stay hydrated. Shout out to Saison Brett Boulevard Brewing Company. Martavis Bryant reinstated. He was suspended indefinitely by the NFL in December, violated the terms of previous reinstatement. 3rd suspension in 4 years. Martavis Bryant. I am done with Martavis Bryant. He is a player with all the tools. He has got everything I think you want in a wide receiver. He's tall, he's fast, he's a freak athlete, but he just cannot keep his head on straight. And I don't care what all y'all say about the stuff that he does. If the NFL says, hey, Martavis, you can't do this, Don't do it. Don't do it. You tell me to give up beer for millions of dollars? Yeah, I'll give up beer. I think it's that simple. But before I go on a tangent about Martavis Bryant, let's just ask this question so I can get him off my screen. Will Martavis Bryant ever play again? Type D for done or type R for return. I'm typing my D for done because I'm done with Martavis Bryant. Super talented player. It's frustrating. Let's give some other player who's maybe coming in the draft, an unrestricted free agent, let's give them a shot to live their dream because I'm sick and tired. I am sick and tired of Bryant just absolutely pissing it away. So, again, if you're going to ask me if he's ever going to play again, not really a betting man. Oh, wait. Yes, I am, because I always put down my bets at BetDSI. Use my promo code Raiders120 for 120% deposit bonus. So when you go there, you put down $50, you'll get $60 for free. If you want to put down $100, get $120 for free. If you put down, listen to this, $500, you can get $600 for free at BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. I challenge you to find a better deal on the internet. Got it? Awesome. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.